Have you ever felt that strange sensation? That subtle whisper in your soul telling you that you were meant for more? That abundance was your birthright, yet somehow it seems to flow toward others but trickles past you? I want you to pause for a moment. Close your eyes if you can. Feel the weight of that question in your heart. There's a sacred mystery unfolding in the lives of those who've discovered what I'm about to share with you today. A transformation that begins not in the external world of banking accounts and investments, but in the internal sanctuary where your spirit connects with the divine source of all abundance. Today, I'm opening the door to a spiritual practice that has silently transformed the financial reality of thousands, a sacred approach to divine wealth that few discover because they're looking in all the wrong places. This isn't about techniques that work for some and fail for others. This is about tapping into the eternal principles that govern prosperity in our universe. Principles as reliable as gravity, as consistent as the sunrise. What makes this message different is that we're not separating the material from the spiritual. For too long, we've been told that pursuing wealth is somehow less spiritual, less noble than embracing poverty. But I'm here to tell you that this division was never part of the divine design. The same creator who crafted the stars and oceans also designed a world of lavish abundance, not scarcity. I've witnessed this transformation in my own life, moving from constant financial struggle to a flow of prosperity that extends beyond mere survival into true abundance. And I've seen it in the lives of countless others who've embraced this approach to divine wealth. People who once couldn't pay their basic bills now living in freedom. Individuals who feared retirement now giving generously to causes that touch their hearts. The prayer I'm going to share with you today isn't magical. It's miraculous in the true sense of the word. A miracle isn't the suspension of universal laws, it's the application of higher laws we haven't yet fully understood. This prayer works because it aligns your spirit, mind, and emotions with the natural flow of abundance that has always been your inheritance. What you'll experience today is a journey from acknowledging where you truly stand financially to stepping into the reality of where you're meant to be. This isn't about overnight riches or promises that dissolve with the morning dew. This is about initiating a profound shift in your relationship with wealth, one that begins immediately but unfolds with divine timing in your life. You might be wondering why this approach would work when others haven't. The difference lies in its wholeness. Most financial advice addresses only your actions or perhaps your thinking. But true transformation requires alignment at every level: spirit, soul, and body. The prayer we'll experience together addresses all three, creating a harmony that opens channels of prosperity previously blocked. I want you to know that what awaits you isn't just change, it's restoration, a return to the divine design for your financial life, a reconnection with the abundance that has been seeking you as earnestly as you've been seeking it. So take a deep breath, center yourself in this moment. The journey to divine wealth begins not with striving, but with receiving. Not with complexity, but with profound simplicity. And it starts right now in this sacred space we're creating together. Do you remember the last time you checked your bank account with that knot in your stomach? That moment when your heart races a little faster, your breath becomes shallow, and you're silently bargaining with the universe. Please, just let there be enough this time. I know that feeling. We all do. Have you ever lain awake at night, your mind spinning with financial equations that never balance? Adding, subtracting, calculating which bill can wait another week, which necessity might become a luxury you must postpone? The weight of those sleepless nights leaves marks on our souls that no one else can see. Perhaps for you, it's not the absence of money, but the absence of peace about money. Even with resources in your account, there's that persistent fear, the worry that it could all vanish, that you're one emergency away from losing everything you've worked so hard to build. Abundance without peace is still a form of poverty, isn't it? Or maybe you're trapped in the cycle many of us know too well, where money seems to flow through your life like water through cupped hands. No matter how tightly you try to hold it, no matter how carefully you plan, it slips away, leaving barely enough to sustain you before the next paycheck, the next opportunity, the next hopeful moment that quickly fades. Think about the dreams you've had to shelve because the resources weren't there. The education you wanted to pursue, the home that would have given your family stability, the business that burns in your heart but remains just a distant vision, the ability to help others in ways that would fulfill your deepest purpose. Each postponed dream leaves a small scar on our hearts, invisible perhaps to others, but profoundly felt in those quiet moments when we allow ourselves to remember what might have been. And beneath all these financial struggles lies something even more painful: the spiritual questions they force us to confront. Why am I experiencing lack when others prosper? Have I somehow failed to earn divine favor? Is abundance truly available to someone like me? Or am I destined to always walk this tightrope of financial insecurity? I understand the shame that often accompanies financial struggle, the way we internalize it, believing it reflects some fundamental flaw in our character or worthiness. The reluctance to discuss it openly, even with those closest to us. The masks we wear to conceal our financial wounds, pretending we're doing better than we are because the alternative, admitting our struggles, feels too vulnerable, too exposing. And I know the toll this takes on your relationships, the arguments that erupt when financial pressure mounts, the distance that grows between partners who can't find common ground on money matters, the guilt of not providing everything you wish you could for your children, the reluctance to engage socially when you can't reciprocate or participate in the ways others can. For so many of us, financial struggle becomes a lens through which we view everything else, distorting our perception of our worth, our potential, our very identity. We begin to believe that this limitation defines us, that perhaps it's all we deserve. What makes this even more painful is witnessing others experience the abundance you long for, especially when they don't seem to value it or recognize the blessing it truly is. When you're working twice as hard but achieving half the results. When doors seem to open effortlessly for others while you're pushing with all your might against barriers that won't budge. And perhaps most painful of all is the dissonance between what we spiritually believe and what we materially experience. Being told that the divine wants abundance for us, yet seeing scarcity reflected in our daily reality. Hearing messages of prosperity while wrestling with lack, trying to reconcile the promise with the lived experience when they seem worlds apart. I'm sharing these reflections not to deepen your pain, but to acknowledge it, to create a space where we can be honest about these struggles without judgment, because naming our pain is often the first step toward healing it. And I want you to know that your financial struggles are not a reflection of your worth or of divine abandonment. They are simply a current reality, not your permanent destiny. The path to divine wealth begins with this honest recognition of where we stand, not with denial or false positivity, but with the courage to look directly at our financial truth while maintaining the unshakable conviction that it can change, that it is already changing from this moment forward. In the midst of financial struggle, we often exhaust ourselves looking for solutions in all the external places: new strategies, different investments, additional income streams, stricter budgets. While these practical steps have their place, they address only the symptoms, not the source. True financial transformation begins at a deeper level, the level of spirit, where your relationship with abundance is first defined. This is where prayer becomes not just a spiritual practice, but a transformative force that realigns your entire being with the natural flow of prosperity. Prayer is not merely asking for what you lack. It's communing with the source of all abundance and allowing that communion to restructure your relationship with wealth at the most fundamental level. As the ancient wisdom tells us in Deuteronomy 8:18, remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. This profound truth reminds us that prosperity isn't something we generate solely through our own efforts. It's a flow we participate in, a divine collaboration between our faithful actions and a generous Creator. The prayer I'm about to share with you works through three essential dimensions of your being. First, it addresses your spirit, reconnecting you with divine source and removing the spiritual blocks that have interrupted your prosperity flow. Second, it transforms your mind, rewiring thought patterns that have kept you trapped in scarcity mindsets despite your best efforts. And third, it realigns your emotions, healing the trauma, fear, and unworthiness that often sabotage our financial growth on an unconscious level. What makes this approach different is that it's not just about getting more money, it's about becoming a different person in relationship to money, When you change at this fundamental level, your external reality naturally begins to reshape itself to match your new internal state. Doors that seemed locked begin to open. Opportunities you couldn't see before become visible. Resources start flowing through channels you didn't even know existed. I've witnessed this transformation countless times. People who practiced this prayer with sincerity began noticing shifts almost immediately. Not always in their bank accounts right away, but in their sense of peace, in their creativity, in their ability to recognize opportunities. And those internal shifts inevitably led to external changes as they continued in faith. This prayer works for anyone who approaches it with an open heart and genuine faith. It doesn't require perfect spiritual understanding or flawless belief. It meets you exactly where you are and works with whatever measure of faith you currently possess. Even if that faith is as small as a mustard seed, as Jesus described, tiny but containing all the potential for growth. The beauty of prayer as a pathway to prosperity is that it's universally accessible. You don't need special education, unique talents, or privileged connections. You need only the willingness to open yourself completely to the possibility that the divine desires abundance for you and has already created pathways to that abundance that are uniquely yours to discover. In the coming minutes, I'll guide you through this transformative prayer. But I want you to understand that this isn't just about reciting words. It's about allowing these words to create a new reality within you, one where prosperity feels natural, deserved, and aligned with your highest purpose. One where receiving abundance doesn't trigger guilt or fear, but gratitude, and a desire to become a channel through which prosperity can flow to others as well. The prayer we'll experience together is a key that unlocks what has always been your birthright. It removes the barriers between you and the wealth that has been waiting for you, patiently throughout your entire journey. Before we enter into this sacred prayer together, I want to invite you to participate in a simple yet powerful act, a tangible expression of your readiness to receive. This moment of conscious participation will help bridge the gap between hearing about transformation and experiencing it personally. Take a piece of paper, any paper will do, and write down the single greatest financial burden you're carrying right now. It might be a specific debt, an upcoming expense you don't know how to meet, or simply the words financial worry if that's what weighs heaviest. Don't overthink this. Just allow whatever rises first in your heart to flow onto the page. Now, beneath that burden, I want you to write these words. I release this to divine wisdom and open myself to unexpected abundance. This simple declaration is your first step from the realm of human limitation into the realm of divine possibility. Hold this paper in your hands for a moment. Feel its weight, so light physically, yet so heavy in its emotional and spiritual significance. This paper represents your willingness to stop carrying alone what was never yours to carry alone. Now find a place where you can keep this paper, perhaps in a Bible or spiritual book, in a special box, or even in your wallet where it will remind you daily of this moment of release. The physical location doesn't matter as much as the spiritual significance of this act. You are physically demonstrating your decision to partner with the divine in your financial journey. As we prepare to enter into prayer, I invite you to create a space that supports this sacred moment. If possible, silence any distractions around you. Adjust your posture to one of receptivity, sitting comfortably with your palms open on your lap, symbolizing your readiness to receive. Take 3 deep breaths with me now. With each inhale, imagine drawing in divine abundance. With each exhale, release tension, doubt, and the residue of past financial disappointments. First breath in and out. Second breath in and out. Third breath in and out. Feel your body relaxing, your mind quieting, your spirit becoming alert and receptive. In this moment, you are creating a sacred vessel capable of receiving the prosperity that has always been intended for you. Now, as I begin to lead us in prayer, allow yourself to do more than just hear the words. Let them resonate in your very cells. Speak them aloud with me if you feel comfortable doing so, or repeat them silently in your heart. The power lies not in the volume, but in the sincerity with which you embrace each declaration. Are you ready? This is your moment of divine appointment with abundance. This is where everything begins to change. Divine source of all abundance, I come before you now with an open heart and a willing spirit. I acknowledge that every good and perfect gift comes from you, that you are not just the creator of wealth, but its very essence. In this sacred moment, I release all preconceptions about what prosperity should look like in my life and open myself to your higher vision. I confess that I have sometimes doubted your desire to prosper me. I have questioned whether abundance was truly available to someone like me. I have allowed the appearance of lack to convince me that lack was my destiny. Today, I renounce these limited beliefs. I reject the lie that poverty is somehow more spiritual than prosperity. I embrace the truth that you delight in the well-being of your children. Divine Provider, you see every financial burden I carry. You know the weight of every debt, the pressure of every unfulfilled obligation, the pain of every postponed dream. I bring all of these to you now, not as complaints, but as offerings, spaces in my life where your abundance can manifest in ways that bring glory to your name and peace to my heart. I declare that lack is not my portion. Scarcity is not my inheritance. Struggle is not my destiny. From this day forward, I align myself with the natural flow of divine prosperity. I position myself to receive the abundance that has always been flowing toward me, even when I couldn't perceive it. Divine wisdom, illuminate the pathways to prosperity that you have already prepared for me. Open my eyes to see opportunities where others see only obstacles. Grant me the discernment to recognize true channels of abundance and the courage to walk through doors that you open, even when they lead me beyond familiar territory. I am not merely a recipient of your wealth, I am a steward of it. I commit to managing with integrity whatever resources you place in my hands. I will neither hoard from fear nor waste from carelessness. I will allow prosperity to flow through me, not just to me, becoming a channel through which others can be blessed as well. Where fear of lack has created blockages in my life, I ask for your perfect love to dissolve them. Where unworthiness has built dams against the flow of abundance, I receive your affirming grace to dismantle them. Where generational patterns of poverty have carved deep grooves directing my financial journey, I invoke your power to create new pathways, aligned with your promise of provision. I can see now what I could not see before. I can see abundance finding its way to me through unexpected channels. I can see creative ideas being birthed in my mind that carry the seeds of prosperity. I can see divine connections being formed that will become bridges to opportunities I could not access on my own. I can see provision arriving at exactly the right moment to meet genuine needs. Divine Source, I release the timeline of my prosperity into your hands. I understand that some fruits ripen quickly while others require seasons of growth. I will neither force what needs time nor delay what is ready to manifest now. I trust your divine timing above my own limited understanding of when and how abundance should appear. I forgive all who may have contributed to my financial wounding, those who taught me limiting beliefs about money, those who took advantage of my trust, those who failed to recognize my value and compensate it fairly. And I forgive myself for the times I rejected prosperity through fear, sabotaged it through unworthiness, or mismanaged it through lack of knowledge. This forgiveness clears the path for new prosperity to enter unhindered. I declare that every cell of my being is being reprogrammed right now to vibrate in harmony with abundance rather than scarcity. My thoughts are being realigned with prosperity consciousness. My emotions are being calibrated to expect good rather than brace for lack. My spirit is remembering its divine design as a magnifier and multiplier of blessing. The same power that raised Christ from the dead now flows through me, bringing to life financial opportunities that seemed impossible. The same creativity that spoke the universe into existence now generates within me ideas that carry prosperity potential. The same love that sustains all of creation now attracts to me resources that support my divine purpose. I am no longer intimidated by wealth or apologetic about desiring it. I recognize prosperity as a tool for greater service, a resource for deeper impact, a means through which divine love can take tangible form in a world of needs. My prosperity serves a purpose greater than personal comfort. It empowers my unique contribution to healing and transformation. I speak directly to the mountain of financial limitation that has stood in my way. Be removed, be cast into the sea. I speak to doors that have remained closed, open now by divine authority. I speak to resources that have been held back. Be released in divine timing and divine order. As surely as the sun rises each morning, as certainly as seasons follow one another in perfect sequence, as inevitably as seeds produce after their kind, divine prosperity is now manifesting in my life. It is done. It is established. It cannot be reversed or denied because it flows from the unchanging nature of a generous Creator. I receive this prosperity with gratitude so profound it transforms my entire being. Thankfulness flows from me not just for what I receive, but for who you are, the ever-giving, never-depleted source from which all blessings flow. This gratitude itself becomes magnetic, attracting even greater abundance into the vacuum created by my wholehearted appreciation. Every area where lack has seemed to define my reality is now being flooded with divine sufficiency. Where there has been not enough, there is now more than enough. Where there has been just getting by, there is now abundance to share. Where there has been constant concern, there is now perfect peace. I breathe in prosperity. I exhale limitation. I breathe in divine favor. I exhale worthiness issues. I breathe in creative solutions. I exhale rigid thinking about how money must come. With each breath, I am becoming more fully the prosperous being you designed me to be from the beginning of time. This transformation transcends mere accumulation of currency. It reshapes my very identity as one who partners with divine source in the circulation of abundance throughout my sphere of influence. I am becoming wealthy not just in resources but in perspective, seeing through your eyes how prosperity can serve your purposes in our world. I seal this prayer with unshakable faith, not faith in specific outcomes measured by human understanding, but faith in your perfect provision, manifesting in ways that serve my highest good and the good of all concerned. I rest in the absolute assurance that divine wealth is no longer a distant hope, but my present reality, unfolding in divine timing and divine order. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It is done. Something profound has just happened. In the spiritual realm where all physical manifestation begins, a fundamental shift has occurred in your relationship with prosperity. What was blocked is now flowing. What was delayed is now advancing. What was withheld is now being released. This isn't wishful thinking, it's spiritual reality asserting itself in your life. I want you to take a moment and simply notice how differently you feel right now compared to when we began this journey. There's a lightness in your spirit, isn't there? A sense of possibility that wasn't there before. That shift in your internal state is the first evidence of the change that is unfolding. Right now, divine intelligence is orchestrating circumstances in your favor. People who can contribute to your prosperity are being drawn into your path. Ideas that carry the seeds of abundance are being planted in your mind. Doors that were firmly shut are beginning to crack open. Can you feel it? This movement in the unseen realms that precedes physical manifestation? I believe with complete conviction that financial breakthroughs are on their way to you. Not because of magical thinking, but because you have aligned yourself with the spiritual laws that govern prosperity. You've addressed the root causes of financial limitation, the beliefs, emotions, and spiritual disconnections that were restricting your flow. Where you once saw only bills that couldn't be paid, you will soon see resources arriving at just the right moment. Where you once experienced constant financial stress, you will know the peace of having more than enough. Where you once felt alone in your financial struggles, you will recognize divine partnership guiding your every decision. I see new income streams opening up for you, channels of prosperity you haven't even considered yet, sources of abundance that feel aligned with your purpose and values, not just your need, opportunities that utilize your natural gifts and bring you joy even as they increase your resources. I see financial wisdom growing within you, intuitive understanding of how to manage, invest, and multiply the resources that come into your care. This isn't just about receiving more, it's about becoming a wiser steward of whatever flows through your life. I see divine favor surrounding you like a shield, causing people to want to help you, support your endeavors, invest in your vision, and connect you with opportunities that might otherwise have passed you by. This favor isn't earned, it's a gift that flows naturally to those who align with divine abundance consciousness. I see generational patterns of lack being broken in your lineage. The limitations that may have defined your family's financial story for generations are losing their power over you right now. You are becoming a transitional character in your family's history, the one through whom a new legacy of prosperity begins. I see unexpected gifts and surprising windfalls making their way to you. Financial blessings that can't be attributed to your own efforts but come as confirmations of divine care and perfect timing. These unexpected provisions will strengthen your faith and remind you that prosperity flows from a source far greater than your own abilities. I see creative solutions emerging for financial challenges that have seemed insurmountable. Where there appeared to be no way forward, pathways are opening. What looked like dead ends are revealing hidden doors. The impossible is becoming possible as divine wisdom illuminates options you couldn't see before. Where fear once constricted your financial flow, courage is now expanding it. Where unworthiness once rejected prosperity, divine identity is now embracing it. Where confusion once paralyzed your decisions, clarity is now guiding your choices. These internal shifts are creating space for external abundance to manifest. I see you moving from constantly pursuing money to being magnetically attractive to prosperity. This attraction comes not from desperate need, but from aligned value, from becoming someone whose presence in the marketplace naturally draws resources because of the unique contribution you make. You are being established as a prosperity point in your community, someone through whom abundance circulates rather than stagnates. The more prosperity flows to you, the more impact you can create in the lives of others. This is the divine design of wealth, not accumulation, but circulation. All of this is already in motion. It began the moment you opened yourself to this new relationship with divine prosperity. It will continue to unfold in perfect timing, some manifestations appearing quickly, others developing more gradually, all arriving at precisely the right moment for your highest good. This new financial reality isn't something you need to force into existence through struggle or strain. It's already created in the spiritual realm and is now making its way into your physical experience. Your role is simply to remain in this state of aligned expectation, grateful before you see the results, confident even amid temporary appearances to the contrary. As we bring this sacred time to a close, I want you to recognize that you are not the same person who began this journey 30 minutes ago. A profound recalibration has occurred in your relationship with prosperity. You have been realigned with the divine flow of abundance that has always been your birthright. This transformation isn't something that will fade when you return to your daily life. You carry it with you now. This new consciousness, this awakened expectation, this spiritual connection to divine prosperity. It remains active within you, continuing to reshape your financial reality even when you're not consciously focusing on it. The prayer we've shared is not a one-time event, but the beginning of a new way of engaging with the spiritual dimensions of wealth. I encourage you to return to it regularly, perhaps making it part of your morning ritual or a practice you turn to whenever financial concerns try to reestablish their hold on your thoughts. Remember the paper where you wrote your financial burden and your declaration of release? Keep it somewhere visible for the next 21 days. Each time you see it, take a moment to reaffirm your trust in divine provision and to notice any evidence of prosperity beginning to manifest in your life. Even small signs are worth celebrating as harbingers of greater abundance to come. If this message has touched your heart, if you felt that connection to divine prosperity reawakening within you, I invite you to share this experience with someone else who might be struggling with financial limitations. Not through pressure or preaching, but through simple testimony to what you've experienced here. Prosperity multiplies when shared in this way. For those experiencing this for the first time, I want to welcome you to a community of people who are learning to live in divine wealth rather than worldly scarcity. You are not alone on this journey. There are many others walking this path of spiritual prosperity, discovering as you are that abundance is our natural state when we align with divine provision. I believe with all my heart that testimonies of financial breakthrough will begin flowing from this very moment. some immediate, some gradual, all divinely orchestrated. When these manifestations of prosperity appear in your life, acknowledge them not just as personal blessings, but as confirmations of the spiritual principles we've explored together. May you walk forward from this moment in the unshakable knowledge that divine wealth is your inheritance. May every resource you need find its way to you in perfect timing. May your prosperity become a blessing that extends far beyond your own life, creating ripples of abundance that touch countless others. The path to divine wealth has been illuminated. The door to prosperity has been opened. The journey of abundance has begun, and it will continue to unfold in beautiful ways that exceed your highest expectations.